Hi, and welcome to what I am presuming will be a series of short video clips regarding my opinion. I hate to have an opinion, but basically my thoughts on various topics regarding society, and I mean, to simplify things as much as possible, which I try to. It's basically about existentialist philosophy and psychology. Um, I made a few notes of what I'm looking to cover over the series of videos. Um, Anything from how Jesus basically exists in our minds as a variable concept, as an intellectual virus, a meme. I came up with the theory of the meme theory until I realized that Richard Dawkins had that patent, I suppose. But yeah, our minds are completely contaminated, I guess, for lack of a better word, with intellectual viruses, memes that we transmit from one person to another, and I probably have to have a video just on that alone, intellectual viruses. And Jesus is my favorite example of how that works. He wanted to exist as an idea in our minds, and that is very very important. That's basically all there is to it. In a line, in a nutshell, that's what he is. And that being said, we have a religious preaching atheists who cannot basically believe in anything greater than what they experience through their senses, and when they communicate about Jesus and their theories on Jesus, etc., it is just their theories on the meme, the intellectual virus that is Jesus. It is nothing greater, and I look forward to discussing that further. If you experience Jesus in some sort of near-death experience, then it's still not really we call it spiritual experience, but it's nothing that's going to be beyond this earth, or beyond this life, whatever you want to say, because you're still your brain is still functioning. In order to experience Jesus in that realm, or whatever, that way, you are still needing to have your brain providing those types of sensations of color, three-dimensional reality, perhaps, or you're hearing, using language, English. That is very important. If you're communicating in English, then obviously you're still really part of this world. That's a huge thing. So, I mean, this is just like something I need to break up over time and discuss, piece by piece. What am I looking at? Oh yeah, heaven. I can pretty well prove doesn't even exist. God, it just seems a little obvious here. Why can it not exist? Well, one thing I said was because you need a brain to experience things. If you don't have a brain, when you die, your brain ceases. So how is that supposed to carry on? That's one problem. Even as a state of energy, if you're in a state of bliss, you wouldn't be able to fully appreciate that unless you had hell. So you need both things. But finally, then you would say there's heaven and hell. Why cannot that not work? Oh, because the thing that, if say you wanted 72 virgins in heaven, you need a brain to provide the sexual organ and the whole experience that goes around. I mean, there's so many problems with heaven. There's a time issue of eternal chess or hugs and kisses. So there's a whole chapter on that. I mean, most of the answers, I will eventually go into my own philosophy. And I mean, I think the way of going about explaining a different point of view is to first address the issues at hand and what other people have believed in, and then after I dismiss all that and prove incorrect, I'll go on to going into my own issues. But it is basically with a moment, and I remember Karl Marx did say that religion is the opiate of the people, but I strongly believe that he didn't really address the issue thoroughly. Religion is not just the opiate of the masses. Everything is an opiate. Every thought and every action, because there's nothing that you need to do. It's just complete void that needs to be filled, and so that is very critical. And then I'm going to go into economics a bit, right? Anything from the fact that capitalism is a form of unrestrained egoism. Um, you can say it's a free market society. Obviously there's government intervention, and the greatest argument I can think of, perhaps, as to why I don't think capitalism should be the form of economics that we adhere to, is because it basically seems to want to create inferior goods, right? Because that's the only way to keep it going, right? So instead of having a car that could last, I don't know what the potentiality is of it, right? Maybe 50 years, 20 years, whatever. They need to have a secular type of consumer who's going to come back every few years, etc. So I think that's ridiculous. It's work for the sake of work and misery for the sake of misery, it seems, really. That's another important aspect of what I see in the world today. Misery. One-way love, right? I mean, another aspect of religion, you loving an entity which doesn't really, you don't feel anything back. I mean, you can convince yourself otherwise. But you're giving the love to that. And the same thing happens with sports. It's one-way love, you to the team who doesn't know you. So yeah, that happens to celebrities. They don't know you, you love them. Religion, you make up, Mickey Mouse or Jesus, and you love them. They don't really, they're not going to come back to knock on your door to come back to love you, whatever. And then the sports as well, celebrities, another way of celebrity love. And then basically, you're conditioned to believe in that through marketing, which is a form of indoctrination, which is a variable concept in your mind. And so there's very many overlapping concepts. It can seem overwhelming and complicated. What else do I need to get into? U.S. is criticized as being or what is it? As being a global Ponzi scheme, because the U.S. dollar is inflated because it's used as trade for oil and commodities, and the thing is that anything is a bit of a Ponzi scheme. You want to get into gold and silver early, then it's whatever you get in early before the demand kicks in, right? So it's just it's just one big Ponzi scheme, no matter what you want, no matter what the supply and demand, anything that requires that is going to just result in that type of way of existing. It is a page in Economics 101 where you can have asbestos insulation being a precious commodity, and now it's not worth anything. Hell, you want it removed out of your house, and it's you could have a horse as being a precious commodity, but now you won't want it. You want a car, and that's how things work. But the same thing is that you need to. It's about belief, right? So you need to believe the American dollar is worth something. That's what I'm trying to get to, in order for it to have value. And it's all obvious stuff, and maybe that's not even worth covering too much. But did I mention that we're all atheistic by nature because we can only experience what we sense? One-way love, and that is pretty much it. And then I'll eventually get into my own ideas, I suppose. And those are my ideas. Basically, shitting on the beliefs of man. I really don't care too much of the how do I phrase it? The quarrels of man. I'm at a loss of words right now. Where I can't even think about it right now. But I do think the moment is the most important thing, and whatever. I didn't script my whole speech right now, so I just wanted to get through what I will be going over in the next few videos, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, see you then.